Chapter begins at Sacred Marihoa. Someone exclaims, "So Nika has finally descended upon the world, and 2 of the 4 emperors were defeated in the same battle. This is not a matter we can cover up. The information will be all over the globe soon enough, and the timing couldn't be worse. So how do we respond?" The scene shifts to the sea near Wano, and one of the elders speaks on a transponder. "You said Zoo is gone?" An agent replies, "Yes, sir. It just slipped away into the mist. So what was it doing?" The elder responds, "Then they are not opening up the country. Wano will remain an impregnable fortress. It seems they must have changed tactics in response to the situation. Someone over there is very shrewd." Another elder remarks, "Now there is no means of sending a major force to occupy the nation." One of them orders, "But you will at least bring Nico Robin, yes?" The agent replies, "Without fail." Suddenly, a weird voice starts coming from the transponder, and one of the agents says the signal is being jammed. The person on the transponder says, "Hang on, you guys. Just wait where you are. I'll be right there." The narrator says, "The land of Wano, freed at last from 20 years of tyranny, reveled in the victory of the Kozuki clan." The scene shifts to a castle where Hawkins, who is covered in blood and has had his hand chopped off, says, "Drake, you are a Navy man?" Drake, struggling, replies, "That's what you came here to ask?" Hawkins sits down, and Drake continues, "You look like a total wreck. I thought your divination said you would be fine as long as you didn't betray Kaido." Hawkins replies, "I sank to working for Kaido because I sensed death in the presence of that monster. But Kid and Killer faced death bravely and continued their resistance. Even if I had foreseen their victory, how could I possibly turn back and suck up to Kid again?" Drake remembers when he said to Hawkins, "If you are going to betray them, now's the time." What does that represent? Hawkins replies, "The chances of a certain man surviving until tomorrow. 1%? Sucks to be him." The scene comes back to the present, and Drake says, "So that certain man you were talking about was..." Hawkins cuts his sentence off by saying, "Me." The scene shifts to the Flower Capital, and 7 days have passed since the conclusion. Someone says, "Don't take the festival decorations down. Lord Momonosuke, the Shogun, has decreed that we'll have another festival." The scene shifts to a class, and a student asks, "Did Miss Sarahibi go away? How come?" The teacher replies, "I am sorry, kids, but you need re-education about the history behind our heroes." All the kids become angry and shocked. The teacher continues, "We start with the most astonishing lad. This lesson will cover the story of Kozuki Oden." One of the people in the capital says, "I can hardly believe it. Komurasaki, the most beautiful woman in all of Wano, was Lord Oden's daughter all along." Another person adds, "It was Kawamatsu who rescued her from the burning castle." One of them remarks, "What a beautiful tale of loyalty. One samurai disguised himself as a yakuza named Kyoshiro and secretly protected her from harm. He was one of the Akazaya 9, Sir Denjiro." At Paradise Farm, one person says, "Do you know about the man who beat Kaido?" Another person replies, "I heard. He's a warrior by the name of Joy Boy, right? But apparently, he's already left the country." Someone else says, "Oh, I wish I could have seen him. A hero rivaled only by the god of the blade." At Eternal Graves in Ringo, Kawamatsu questions, "Build a temple?" Kinemon replies, "Indeed, up on a hill with a view of the Flower Capital, just like this shrine to Ryuma, the god of the blade. Only this one will honor Lord Oden, and surrounding him, all the daimyo who fought for the country, starting with Lord Yasui, plus Ashura and Izo." Suddenly a wolf appears, and Kawamatsu smiles and says, "I suppose we'll go in here someday too, Onimaru. Little scamp, glad you're alive." Suddenly Marco lands, and Kinemon says, "Does that work for you, Sir Marco?" Marco replies, "Of course. Best to be buried in one's native soil, and here I am, still kicking for some reason." Kawamatsu says, "We have our own qualms too." Kinemon adds, "It is difficult to bear the thought of something happening to the heroes of the battle while the rest of us live. Let us pray for their recovery." Yamato, sitting on a tree, says, "I am so hungry. I mean, not hungry, not hungry, not hungry." Momonosuke says, "Brother, big brother, Yamato." As he gets kicked in the face, he says, "She's still not over her tomboyish side. Doesn't hurt, though." Suddenly, Luffy and Zoro wake up. Luffy exclaims, "Meat!" while Zoro says, "Booze!" Everyone gets happy, and Momonosuke runs towards them saying, "Luffy, Zoro, you're awake!" And Yamato adds, "Luffy, you're up?" Momo continues, "Luffy, Zoro, don't eat too much. Now that you're up, the entire country is going to hold a feast. Let's do it today." Luffy and Zoro, who were eating, are shocked by this grown-up man. Momo shouts and tells them that he is Momonosuke. Luffy, in shock, says, "What? Oh, so you are an adult." Zoro says, "You look pretty kid. Is that Odin's blood? Let's see how well you take a punch." Momo becomes afraid and sticks with Nami, saying, "No, stop! They're on me! Save me, Nami!" Nami gets frustrated and punches him. Momo replies, "But I am only 8. Doesn't hurt, though." Nami says, "Oh, that's right." Luffy adds, "Yeah, he's tougher now." Sanji and Brook laugh and say, "Welcome to the adult world, Momo. Your special privileges are a thing of the past." Yamato says, "He's a kid on the inside and Odin on the outside." Momo says, "Stop putting a tray on my head every time you see me." Yamato says, "You've got a very sturdy body. Be grateful to your parents. You will be the greatest samurai in the nation one day, I'm sure." Momo replies, "Well, I'll try." Nami says, "Yamato, let's take that bath before the festival, yeah? Your prayer is over, right?" Luffy questions, "Prayer?" Jinbei answers, "In Wano, when you pray to the gods for something, it's customary to deprive yourself until it comes true." Yamato said, "I didn't have any food or baths until you two were better again." Luffy happily said, "Wow, really? Thanks to you, I'm feeling great." "No, Yamato." Jinbei says, "What a nice person." Zoro says, "We are not that filthy, though." A girl behind Zoro says, "That's because I took it upon myself to cleanse you. Is that exciting for you?" Sanji gets fired up and says, "Mosshead, we need to have a talk." Zoro remembers Sanji's past words and replies, "Oh yeah, that's right." Sanji and Zoro start fighting, and Zoro says, "I have come back from the depths of hell to kill you." Sanji replies, "No, I'm good. We already resolved that." Meanwhile, Yamato said, "Sorry, Nami. There's no mixed bathing in the castle." Back in town, someone says, "The feast is gonna be today? It's time once again to celebrate the return of the Kozuki clan. Tell each of the provinces." The scene shifts to Tokaj in Udon, and Frankie says, "Back in shape at last." Usopp says, "Yeah, they should be good to sail." Frankie says, "And General Frankie's back to normal, too." Killer and Beppo are shocked, and Beppo says, "That thing is so cool." Captain Kidd says, "Don't get all buddy-buddy with them. Stay on your guard until we are able to leave." Killer says, "Somehow, somewhere, the intel will leak, and the papers will hear about it. They'll be after us as replacements for the 4 emperors." Law says, "He's right. They can't see us from outside of the closed nation, but we can't see what the enemy's doing either." Beppo says, "What if we find out that all their bounties are astronomical numbers like we've never seen before?" Apu says, "That's right. Who can say how this information leaked out, but—" Captain Kidd cuts him off and says, "Stop acting like it wasn't you, you annoying bum." Apu replies, "I am sure you are curious about the new bounty numbers. Want to see them? It's all there. All of your bounties and the names they are calling the new emperors of the sea." Someone is seen flying and talking to someone on the other side of a transponder snail. The person on the other end says, "I asked you where you are right now?" The flying person replies, "I already told you, Sakazuki. I am in the air." Sakazuki says, "In the air where?" The person replies, "Oh, I can see Wano up ahead." Sakazuki says, "Don't you dare make things any worse. Got that, Ryokugyu?" The person replies, I know. And the chapter ends.